Season's greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Your holiday host, Blue Dragon 5 here, with a very special, seasonal, and sensational installment of Disney Debates, Star Wars Edition. Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars, maybe some Star Tours, let's just see. Just
video.
Just our little way of celebrating the end of Mando Season 2 and the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, and more. Tonight's festivities include the following. Best episode of Mando Season 2, best moment in the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, and most exciting upcoming Star Wars project. All right, folks, time to board the Star Tours and get Chewie to Kashyyyk pronto for Life Day. Put on your robe and grab your little light orbs and gather around the arena! In this corner, a man who does his holiday shopping on Batuu and orders his milk Hamlindigo Blue. It's Hondo Onaka's #1 fan, Tiki!
You know, Dragon, I'm still just bitter that the Lando show isn't going to be called the Calrissian Chronicles.
Could always make room for a subtitle. We'll see. And in the opposing corner, a nice lad, strong with the Force, who leaves blue macaroons and milk out for Baby Yoda. It's your favorite Padawan, Jacob Wile!
My lightsaber is blue.
Yeah.
Seriously, I have a blue lightsaber when I went to Disney World a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And joining me on the ever faithful tribunal is Monkey and
Hello.
Vodkaringa.
Hello, Star Wars fans.
How we doing, fellas? By the way, also, just to everyone involved, happy holidays to the folks at home and to our panel.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Happy
you know,
holidays.
it's going to be a different holiday this year, but I hope the holidays cheer spreading around everyone, regardless.
Yeah.
Despite it
Technically,
being
my
time
holiday's
frame.
over, so.
That's true. All right.
Right, so a little refresher on the rules, just for anyone playing the home game, whether it be later or now with us. First off, before we go any further, I'm just going to warn everyone right now,
Oh, God.
spoilers. Chances are there's going to be big spoilers, so if you haven't seen the holiday special, or more importantly, if you haven't seen the end of Mando Season 2, stop now, watch it, then come back to it later. I'm just going to warn you
Why
now.
would a season finale have a spoiler?
No idea.
He's more worried about the holiday special, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Right,
there's
totally.
so many surprises. I mean, again,
What's
like, man,
the
it's probably going to
Star
end the
Wars?
same way it did the first season. Who cares? Anyway, I mean, it's not like there's like something at the very end or anything. I mean, who knows? Okay. All right, folks. So again, spoilers. Okay, now back to the rules. Okay, for those playing the home game and for those joining us now. So we got 3 rounds. We're going to go to our players. They're going to reveal what they picked. They're going to give their opening statements, and then it's a duel of fates to the finish. One could argue it's duel of fates. Of course, R2 here. When it makes that sound, that's the bell, which means it's time to deliberate. Time to cast their votes. Whoever gets the most most votes in that round ends up getting the round point. So, of course, at the end of 3 rounds, we introduce the ever faithful coin. In this case, per the Star Wars of it all, the Beskar coin.
Well,
I
why are
was
you
hoping
using
you were
this?
gonna-
The credits will do fine.
I was hoping you were going to call it the Calrissian coin.
Or
Not everything can be Lando, Tiki.
it could be the Coruscant coin.
I mean,
All right. Let's just go with the Beskar coin. I'm fine with that.
Best coin.
there you go. It is
All
the
right.
best. Okay, so the Beskar coin, which of course is an optional feature, you don't have to use it. I mean, a little Beskar in your corner never hurts, but you don't need to use it.
I mean,
Lands.
It blocks lightsabers.
It does. Again, ever useful. So if you choose to use it, optional of course, lands heads, you get a point. Lands tails, well, not so lucky. And hidden within our round somewhere, like an ever faithful Christmas present or Life Day present in this case, I present to you Coin of the Fett.
Oh God.
Because it's hidden, it's a surprise. It's Coin of the
Oh.
Fett. All right, so
Any twists we should be on the lookout for?
we'll get there when we get there. Maybe.
Oh dear.
So anyway, so Coin of the Fett, which again it's in one of the 5 initial rounds we're gonna have here, and is offered. It's gonna be offered to the winner of the round it's revealed in. So just a little FYI.
Okay.
Okay. So after the main round, we enter the speed round, where let's just say things get interesting.
Oh God!
Of course, first to 5 points wins the game. Gentlemen, do you understand these rules as I've explained them here to you both this fine life day?
Yep.
Roger, Roger.
Okay.
I'm always worried when you use the word interesting.
You'll see. It's the holidays. All right. Let's do a randomizer. Let's see who's going first. Let's establish an order. A first order.
Oh,
Yep.
Jacob, the randomizer strikes back at you. It's been nice to you for a while, but no, there we go.
The randomize of Skywalker.
God, it's that kind of weak sauce, but okay.
All right.
All right. Okay, guys. Let's grab some tip-yip and get things started.
Tip-yip.
Round numero uno.
Who's baking the tip-yip?
Hopefully someone who can cook.
Not it.
Maybe Harvey Korman if we're lucky. I don't know.
So as long basically anybody but Poe.
Pretty much. That Yahoo's going to use the Millennium Falcon anyway. So, all right. Round numero uno. Given that The Mandalorian Season 2 is wrapped up, we're all raving about it, just collectively as a species. We're going to go round number 1, which is, what is the best episode of The Mandalorian Season 2? So again, spoilers aplenty here, folks. We're going to be talking about these episodes. So you were warned. So Jacob, what episode do you have?
I have the season finale of Season 2, The Rescue.
Yes, The Rescue. Well, what I always wanted Admiral Akbar to say. It's not if he actually sacrificed himself in the Last Jedi. One like there's a really cheesy line of like, it's not a trap, it's a rescue.
Yeah, Dragon, you've been pitching that for years, and it's great. All right, I have the episode before that, the penultimate episode, Chapter 14. I'm sorry, not Chapter 14, Chapter 15, The Believer, also known as the Bill Burr episode.
All right, okay, open statement time. Jacob, dazzle me.
All right. Yeah, this episode might seem like an obvious choice. I mean, because being a season finale and how momentous an episode it is. But that's not really a detriment to it at all. I mean, the whole season is packed with fantastic episodes, and this is the episode that ranks above them all. If you're asking me, it's like it has pretty much everything you could ask for out of both the Mandalorian and Star Wars as a whole. It's not just, it's basically Mando at his own best, a stellar performance and delivery of Moff Gideon in this episode, showing like why he should be treated as a serious threat. It's not just Mandalorian at the peak; it's Star Wars at its peak.
Okay, Tiki.
Okay, so I thought that episode 8 was clearly the obvious answer. So I decided to go against the grain. I decided to go the tough choice. And ultimately, I landed on an episode that during our recaps, I wasn't too hot on. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I gotta say, going back to it, Chapter 15 is probably one of my favorite Mando episodes ever, just because of all the rich character development we get and how it really kind of goes against the grain of the whole show, where most of the show is just kind of like, all right, like we're going to the location, we're going to meet the person, we're going to do the fetch quest. And this is not only the first episode of The Mandalorian to not feature Baby Yoda in a single shot, that's big, but it's also one of the only episodes of The Mandalorian that really takes a break from the side quest angle of it all and kind of explores the galaxy far, far away from a wider lens through the eyes of Mix Mayfield, played by Bill Burr. So not only that, but it's got an awesome Mando taking off his helmet reveal that just kind of has a lot of weight behind it. And then, of course, we have that we have the man who shot Bruce Wayne's parents himself just giving a big old lecture and kind of like digging himself into a hole, a Few Good Men style, like Jack Nicholson, just kind of like admitting his own guilt and being gleeful about it. So there's just so many great layers to this episode. And Cara Dune, I mean, how, like, yeah, the finale is great, but the finale is also, I will bring up some stuff about the finale when we debate that I think is not going to hold up as well as this episode. I think this episode is truly, in terms of writing, in terms of pathos, in terms of thematic material, this is it for me.
All right, boys, grab your lightsabers or your pure Beskar staves, perhaps, and go to town.
All right.
Fan service, nothing but fan service. Yeah, that's kind of my opening jab here.
Why are you jabbing? Why are you jabbing your own episode, Tiki?
My own episode is not like, it's very thematically rich, and it's one of the least fan servicey episodes. Like, I could have gone with the Boba Fett reveal, I could have gone with the Bo-Katan episode, but instead I decided to go with, like, let's bring back like a relatively obscure character from season 1, but really kind of like explore him, and by exploring him, we're exploring the moral context of the entire galaxy in a way.
And some of the best episodes of this series have been basically built on pure fan service, so I don't really see that as a detriment.
Not a detriment, but I am saying in 5 years' time, we're going to look back on that Luke scene, and depending on how they do it, depending on how they go forward with it in the future, it's either going to be a really high, or we're going to look forward and be like, oh man, like they like, yeah, it's awesome in the moment, but what did it lead to?
Well, we're not talking about the future. We're talking about current episodes. And right now, looking at current episodes.
Looking at current episodes, I got to admit the CGI on Luke looks like fucking awful. As cool as the sequence was,
it looks as good as the stuff from Rogue One, and that stuff was convincing as hell.
I don't know. I think it's as cool as the scene was. I think it's not going to age particularly well. And overall, I just feel like my episode is one of the very few episodes of the show that really pumps the brakes. And pumping the brakes is not what episode 8 is about at all. Pumping the brakes is a lot of really cool. I'll give it that. It's really cool. Pew pew, shoot shoot, fight fight. Now we got the Beskar sword versus the Darksaber and Moff Gideon, and it's all a bunch of stuff, but it's almost exhausting. And to me, like I said, going back and I actually did a full rewatch of season 2 just to kind of like really make sure I was picking the right episode. And I really did feel like this one, and believe it or not, and also episode 2 really stood out as like, oh man, I could really enjoy these kind of like more standalone episodes that don't really feature all that much pew pew fight fight, but in regards to the rich character thematic dynamics, it's so good.
This episode does have putting on the brake moments, and it has expert character development as well. I mean, look at the interactions between Moff Gideon and who is, by the way, Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, by the way.
Yeah, I know that.
And is in you brought up the guy who shot Batman, so I can bring up Gus.
Fair enough.
Oh, Joe chill, just to get.
And he didn't shoot Batman. He shot Batman's parents.
Batman's parents. You know what I mean. Well, in some versions, he actually does kill. He does shoot at Bruce Wayne. So, but that's beside the point. I'm good. We have Gus Fring here, and played by okay. I'm backpedaling here. The interactions between Mando and Moff Gideon had a certain gravitas and intelligence between them. Like Moff Gideon proves why he's a threat. Like this is like why why everything is the way it is here. This he commands the room. He plays smart. He knows what he knows. Basically, it's basically a big chess game to him. He knows exactly what to do, when to do it. Plays everyone like a fiddle. And if we're talking about like a face reveal, Mando takes off his helmet to say goodbye to Grogu. I mean, that
A face reveal that we already did in episode 7. Thank you very much. Checkmate.
that we did in episode 8, by the way, all the way back in episode 1 to IG-11.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's been a build up, and yeah, Mando showing his face in episode 8 was great because of the Baby Yoda stuff. But I'm saying the face reveal unto itself, like we saw that, and not only did we see the face reveal, but we saw freaking. Like we saw Mando just sitting there as another awesome villain who's not as mustache twirly as Moff Gideon is, just sits there and lectures Bill Burr about the casualties of war.
Please, he's as much mustache twirly as anybody. That guy, that Voss guy, he was his mustache. It's like, oh yeah, it's like we killed all those people. Ha 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 ha.
No, he's putting it like I say, the comparison I make is Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. Like in his own twisted mind, he's doing right. Like he's winning the war. With Moff Gideon, Moff Gideon is way more of just kind of like the over the top, kind of like fun Star Wars villain. Moff Gideon is a more entertaining character, but this guy is a little bit more on the like, oh man, he's like a real kind of scary.
Moff Gideon's actually kind of closer to that character than Voss is.
I disagree, Gary.
Well, I disagree with you. Well, I disagree to disagree.
All right, fair enough. I just think that, not like with my episode, I just think people are overlooking so many things. You also have the cool hijacking of the train. You have Mando switching out of different armor, like Mando in entirely different armor for the first time in the series, and that's before the helmet takeoff. I mean, there's so many cool little things going on in this episode that aren't fan service, that are purely within the character and within the world and within the story of we've got to get Baby Yoda the hell back. And I don't think you can say that for a lot of other episodes.
Well,
not a lot of other episodes have the urgency of this one.
Well, mine does, and mine ups it.
Yours is, like I said, a lot of action and a lot of payoff, but mine is the substance that builds to the payoff.
But it's action that services the plot.
I guess.
Like I said,
Did I mention that Cara Dune is also in my episode? My episode's got an awesome lineup all on its own. Like we got more Boba Fett.
My episode has Boba Fett, Cara Dune, Fennec Shand.
But what I'm saying is that your episode has everyone, and not enough people are giving my episode credit for having an awesome lineup all on its own, plus Bill Burr is an anchor to all the emotion. And who the hell could see Bill Burr, the guy, the pessimistic, I hate Star Wars guy, given one of the most emotional performances when he's known as like the ha-ha funny ginger man?
Ooh.
Okay, then. I mean, I'm not going to deny any of that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it matches the overall gravitas of the finesse of my episode. Like, talk about them. Like, look, I mean, the ending where there's like no dialogue for the last minute, just pure music conveying what all the emotions the characters are feeling after the Grogu touches Mando's face and looks back as he leaves with Luke. I mean, just the cinematography and music there, it just moves you. I mean, like, that's beyond anything in what your episode does.
But you see, my episode plays out more like a play. My episode is definitely a war of words, if you will. And that's why I think it's more dynamic on my end. I'm a writer guy. I'm a dialogue guy. And Star Wars, let's face it, doesn't tend to have great dialogue. This episode has fucking great dialogue. And your episode is basically just like, yeah, it's good Star Wars stuff. It might feel dynamic and like the original trilogy, and it might bring you back to that kind of warm, nostalgic place for sure. But my episode, I feel like, kind of explores the broader potential for what I want a show like Mandalorian to be, and that's something that's outside of the Skywalker saga.
And this is the only thing that the Skywalker saga has ever touched is this episode, and it's not exactly a major part of the episode yet so far. So it's not really
literally the only thing anyone is talking about.
Everybody's talking about the rest of the episode. Like, what about the Death Troopers? The Death Troopers were like they're basically Terminators, and basically they did well with this.
But I'm saying Luke overshadowed. Like, yeah, you're right. Everything about the episode is cool, and people are acknowledging that. But
fan reception has no importance in our debate.
All right, fine. I'll concede to that. I mean, I pretty much said all my points. I'm pretty confident.
Okay. By the way, it's Dark Troopers, Jacob.
I said Dark Troopers.
No, you said Death Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Okay.
You were trying to lure me into a trap at the end there, weren't you?
Maybe it's a trap.
We'll never know now, will we? All right, Claudie. I'm going to let you cast the first vote, buddy. Who are you voting for? Who's swaying you?
Tiki, since he went with the less obvious choice, with the penultimate episode instead of the season finale.
Interesting. Okay, Monkey. Where are you?
Okay, so tonight on putting my own personal answers to these questions aside and judging these arguments on their own merits, I'm gonna side with Tiki. I feel like he generally was stronger at putting forth why his episode would be the victor, what was so special about it. Now, that said, good sir, how dare you dismiss such classic, brilliantly written Star Wars dialogue as, I'm only in it for the money.
Right.
All right, not that it matters at this point, but I'm just going to get my 2 cents in there. I was leaning towards Tiki myself, but I wanted to make the point that Jacob was very... Jacob didn't lose a step in the argument. I'm just saying I think Tiki just kind of bested him just by a little there at the end. It was really even. It was even keeled, even for Jacob brought up all the points I was hoping he was going to make with the whole, he brought up, kind of how we have like basically our big climax with a lot of, kind of the score and just kind of like we're playing things with, kind of on the emotion without so much dialogue, but Tiki kind of hit him with the dialogue point, how kind of he spun into like it breeds a lot of potential, got the best out of Bill Burr. He had a lot going for him, but Jacob did not lose his footing at all during this fight. Jacob was very well fought, but I'm leaning towards Tiki again. Not that my vote counts, but Tiki gets the point anyway. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so guys, strong start, good stuff. All right, okay. Let me check.
And it's kind of interesting to say that this episode was also directed by the guy who did episode 2 as well.
Yep, Rick Famuyiwa. You gotta love that guy.
I mean, Peyton Reed directed episode 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you. Wait. Well, yeah, this season. Sorry, I thought that's a weird thing because you both of you have like episode 2 guys. I got that confused for a second.
I have started watching the Weird Al show lately, which was directed by Peyton Reed. So that felt oddly relevant.
Yeah, everyone mark my words. Peyton Reed, great director. I don't care. Everyone says about Ant-Man and the Wasp, great director.
I like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I know, me too. Everyone's always coming down.
I like it. It's just not the best Marvel movie.
Nobody's gonna say.
People are like brutally saying it's like so boring. It's not boring. It's fun.
All right.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see Weird Al in a future Star Wars thing.
Oh, shut up. All right.
Well, yeah, there was that CG series that never got made, but. Anyway.
All right. Anyway, so let me check for the old Beskar. Well, sorry, not the best. Let me check for the old corn of the Fett here because it's hiding somewhere. It's waiting to pounce. It's waiting somewhere. Let me check. Oh, I got something. And it's calamari flan. Sorry, guys, wrong currency. We're gonna have to move on to round 2. Okay.
All right.
Round number 2. So in the spirit of Life Day and kind of our coverage of said special on seasonal shenanigans. This year, check it out. Round number 2. What was the best moment from the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special on D+? It was all on the table, kids. Every moment from this, and there's plenty of moments to choose from. So let's see what our boys picked. Let's see what they're going to kind of wield here. Jacob.
I chose the scene where Emperor Palpatine's falling to his death and starts to appreciate his mug.
Palpatine and the mug. Okay, Tiki.
I have the scene where Farm Boy Luke stands up for his new friend Rey and throws a frickin' mug of blue milk at Kylo Ren.
And
Luke and the milk. Okay.
And I apologize. I couldn't find a good image for that.
It's all good.
It's not malicious at all. Okay. No.
Because I'm just saying in front, obviously, that image does not reflect the scene. I just couldn't find a high-quality image that had both Rey and Luke in it and the milk.
Right.
I'm so blue.
Right. Okay. Opening statements, guys. Jacob.
Okay, my scene is a relatively simple one, but it builds upon like the character interactions between Darth Vader and Palpatine throughout the episode. Like especially once Palpatine learns from Kylo Ren that Darth Vader threw him down the vent, and killed him. So it's like obviously, basically, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy in this episode, where in this special, where it's basically his attempts to avoid it, and is specifically what caused Darth Vader in this timeline to throw him down in the first place. But it's also during this fall down that he learns to appreciate the mug and Live Day in general, and swears to actually become good, like a good guy. It's like, well, happy life to everyone, and then he dies. So basically, it touches upon it builds upon previous. Basically, what the scene does is it shows a different side of the Emperor, but also it's also not to be also in a scene that's not supposed to be taken entirely seriously due to being obviously a parodic look at the Star Wars universe through Lego. It's just a fun way to show a different side of the Palpatine character, and also reference the famous scene where he falls down the elevator shaft, or the Death Star shaft.
Okay, Tiki.
All right, kids, gather around, and I'll tell you a tale about one of the most simple but heroic and badass moments in Lego Star Wars: The Holiday Special. So one of the best elements of Lego Star Wars: The Holiday Special is the fact that we have all this crazy crossover, like different characters from different timelines. The old Han Solo meeting the new Han Solo. Stuff like that. We're just really weaving into just all these crazy character interactions. And one of my favorite ones in the whole thing was the fact that we gave Farm Boy Luke from the very beginning of A New Hope, gazing out at the twin suns. He, from that very moment, gets mixed up in the shenanigans, and it all comes to a head in this epic freaking moment where him and Rey, who have been developing a bond throughout the course of the special, are put up against Kylo Ren and Darth Vader and Palpatine. Rey starts to lose the battle. The Siths gain the upper hand, and Farm Boy Luke isn't going to take it. He triumphantly charges at the Siths, and he's like, "No, not my friend!" And then he throws his glass of blue milk, which Kylo Ren then humorously force freezes, a la the opening of The Force Awakens. So not only is my moment just a great example of the crossover potential that Lego Star Wars represents with the different timelines, it also represents a genuine moment of character growth for Farm Boy Luke in the special, and it's got a great punchline with the blue milk being frozen. I think it's got it all. It's a 1, 2, 3 punch.
All right, boys, let's try and kill each other with mugs and milk here. Let's go.
I think yours is basically just Robot Chicken, and that's not a bad thing, but I feel like mine is more inherently Lego Star Wars. Yours is pretty much just the same Palpatine Darth Vader dynamic that we've seen in a lot of other Star Wars parodies, not just Robot Chicken. It's well done. It ties things together for Palpatine's character, but I just think mine is just more organic, and mine is also just a little bit more kind of it has that crossover appeal to it.
The crossover appeal is nice, but it doesn't really elevate it above anything else, and that's not really the focus of the particular parts anyway.
Well, I think the focus of my part in particular is the Farm Boy Luke stuff, because Farm Boy Luke in this movie is one of the most delightful elements of it for me. I was just totally won over by hey, let's take Farm Boy Luke from the very beginning of A New Hope and plop him into the middle of this crazy crossover adventure, and basically have him learn all the Star Wars mythology and fast forward. That was one of the most charming elements of the movie for me, and for me, this moment is absolutely where everything kind of seals and kind of blends for me in terms of all that great crossover stuff having a heart and having a purpose in the story.
Well, my moment, I believe, it's as I said, Palpatine throughout the entire special is Palpatine was actually kind of made delightful in this episode, believe it or not.
Palpatine is definitely a comic relief, but I don't think he's got any sort of pathos to his character.
Well, of course not. He's Palpatine. He doesn't need pathos.
Well, I'm saying in a holiday special, that's what I'm looking for, kind of. And for me,
What's funny is that it kind of goes against the grain of standard holiday specials. Like, it's like the villain. It's like even though he's like the villain who does he kind of have a change of heart. It's while he's falling to his death. It's like a hilarious subversion of like.
I will also give you this. I think there was a huge missed opportunity to not poke more fun at the whole, like, how, like either have him survive or just acknowledge, like, there's no way I'm possibly going to come back from this. This is the last time you're going to see Palpatine ever. It was an easy way to get a pot shot at The Last Jedi, or I'm sorry, at The Rise of Skywalker.
Well, they
didn't take it.
They did in a different scene, just not this one.
But I'm saying it would have been an excellent payoff, and they didn't take it. And to me, making a joke about Palpatine just clearly surviving when he shouldn't have survived, that's one of the things I was looking for. Because of course we build this whole movie kind of building up to Palpatine's demise. It's one of those, like on Lost, like, you're gonna die, Charlie. It's like we're building the whole thing around that, and then when we get there, it's just kind of like, okay, we're not gonna have the punchline of the joke. It felt like a joke without a true punchline. Because I thought the punchline was clearly gonna be just acknowledging that he survives that situation under ridiculous circumstances.
I mean, I didn't personally see it that way, but fine.
That's the way I was seeing it. That's just my perspective.
And all yours is basically just a callback. Basically, the milk freeze is just a callback to the laser freezing, which is...
It is a callback to the laser freeze, absolutely. And I love the laser freeze. The laser freeze is one of the most badass moments from Kylo Ren in all three of his movies. But more importantly, like I said, it is it's character development, it's growth, it's Farm Boy Luke fully coming to his own and fully coming to the aid of Rey. And also what I like about that moment is, people might have their problems with Rey, but Rey's a nice character. It's like people, they have their problems with her is in terms of being OP. I have my problems with her in terms of being OP. But at the end of the day, she's a very nice, very pleasant character, and you can see why she gets along with people, and you can see why she's like another kind of Skywalker type. And seeing her and Luke kind of interact and become friends throughout all this was a very nice little subplot that I thought got paid off in a really cool, subtle way in the whole in my bit.
Well, if you think about it, my scene's kind of like a mirror to yours. Like whereas Palpatine,
it's like poetry. It rhymes.
It's like talking about things coming together. It's like basically, as I said before, Palpatine's basically was working with the grandson of Luke Skywalker, and ends up pretty much dying because of it, like leading to Anakin killing him again, which again also features a pretty hilarious moment of Darth Vader in the sweater. but as I said, like, I'm sure my scene doesn't have pathos, but it has comedy. But it has like the comic subversion of like the villain reforming himself to basically, before he dies, instead of like learning the true meaning of Christmas or Life Day in this case, he dies. Like I said, Palpatine doesn't really deserve that, as we've seen before. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a moment.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, my scene has comedy and pathos, and I think that's kind of the heart of my argument.
Well, I mean, Lego has like always been okay. Never mind. I concede.
You can see. Really?
Wait. Okay, Jacob, you gotta be careful with your word choice here. Are you saying that you concede? 'Cause these days, it's very important.
Yeah, Jacob, I got screwed over on that last round.
Are you actually conceding, or are you just saying, I probably should concede?
I mean, I was just pausing myself, basically. I'm not conceding yet.
Okay, you're not giving up on the argument? All right.
No, I'm not. I mean, I might not be winning. I might not win, but I'm not gonna go down without a fight.
Okay.
It's like Like it's not everybody goes to. I mean, obviously the Lego Movie did show that Legos can have pathos, but nobody's gonna come to the Lego Star Wars, especially a Star Wars holiday special explicitly for pathos. They're expecting like, especially with the Lego combination, they're expecting to see like a humorous take on it, and in a way this could be kind of like pseudo heartwarming, but also funny at the same time. Like your scene doesn't really have an emphasis on comedy. More, I mean, your scene is more heartwarming than it is comedic. Mine has like definitely blends both. And also shows an interesting side of Palpatine and Vader.
But my scene has, I think my scene definitely has the punchline though, the punchline of the fan service like laser freeze. Whereas your scene is just kind of like I said, it's stuff that we've seen before with Vader.
Like I said, the punchline still works with mine though. It's not just Vader. It's like building up the entire interaction of like the mug. Like it's like Galaxy's best emperor. He's like, oh, I suppose this really was a nice gift.
Sure.
Okay, I've heard enough. All right, Monkey.
Well, let me just turn off my sexy virtual reality helmet. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with Tiki again because he did a better job of putting forward the significance of his moment.
Mm-hmm.
Claudie?
Yeah, I agree with that as well, Tiki.
Yeah, well, Jacob, you know what's funny? Actually, Jacob kind of won me over, so Jacob got my points.
He had a great final couple statements.
He
got
did.
a great
I think
final
Jacob
couple
really
jabs in there.
pulled
I
together
thought.
towards the end there. I think
Yeah.
he did, but I mean, I
Had
think
me
Tiki,
nervous.
that's what I'm saying. So again, close guys, but looks like Tiki's got the point. So it's 2-0 so far.
Mm-hmm.
But the game's not over.
Mm-mm.
Speaking of which, yeah.
Technically, this is the round I was least confident in.
It was also the round I was least confident in.
All right, let me take an old look see here, and oh hey, I found it! Oh wow, look at this! Oh wait, it's the stupid decoder pin. Let me
Oh
see.
God!
Hold on a second, guys. It might be telling where I can find it. All right, might tell me what round. Give me a second here. Be sure to drink your blue milk. Well, that's not helpful at all.
Oh,
All right,
God.
guys. Move on next round.
I was this close to making that same joke.
All
All
right.
right.
It's like, do you think of these beforehand, Dragon?
Do you really want to know?
kind of yes.
We don't have time. Okay, so
and so the answer remains elusive.
round number 3. So, in light of the big Disney Investors Day that basically was like a surprise D23 none of us knew about, we got a whole boatload of news, and along with that news, Star Wars stuff announced and confirmed and kind of showcased. Which brings us to round number 3. What is the most exciting upcoming Star Wars project? As in, like, something that could be a movie, could be a special, could have been any of the various shows. Basically, everything that was kind of featured under the Investors Day meeting, but not necessarily limited to. All the announced Star Wars stuff that has come up of late. So, who has what? Jacob?
My initial pick was going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I realized I couldn't make a good argument for that. I went with the quasi-sequel to Clone Wars, The Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Tiki, what do you got?
Hey, I went with the Patty Jenkins directed Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Rogue. Okay. Jacob, opening statement.
Yes. Now, as many of you are familiar, might be familiar with, The Bad Batch recently was basically the Clone Wars. The season 7 of Clone Wars premiered on Disney Plus earlier this year, or was it? Did it premiere this year, or did it premiere technically last year?
I think technically last year, but I'm not 100%. Could have been
well, definitely ended this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the first batch of the episodes featured an interesting squadron of clone troopers known as the Bad Batch. basically featuring a lot of characters, basically interesting squadron of troopers with each with very unique and specialized abilities, which allowed them to do their jobs. But they're kind of like have a darker aura to them than the average trooper did. Basically the first 4 episodes of that highlighted that. They were we didn't see them after the first 4 episodes, but they were there. And nobody knew what was going to happen with them until it was recently announced. Until it was announced months later that they would be receiving their own spin-off set after the fall of the Republic. And this was briefly touched upon in the Investors' Day meeting, showcasing what the series would be about. Showcasing the characters returning, with D. Baker coming back to voice all the clones yet again. The indelible D. Baker, by the way. even seeing the return of Fennec Shand from the Mandalorian. And of course, once again, helmed by the other indelible Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is returning. Basically, you can see this as Dave Filoni returning to the Star Wars universe that kind of made him famous. And I think with the combined talents of Filoni, who's proven himself time and time again, and with the combined talents of all the other writers and animation teams on this, it proves to be especially for fans of Clone Wars, to be my personal most exciting aspect of the Star Wars Investors' Day announcements.
Hey, Tiki.
Rogue Squadron was an awesome Star Wars video game. Rogue Squadron was an awesome series of Star Wars books. There's a ton of rich extended universe mythology to pull from that the fans love. It's one of the most beloved elements of the extended universe, as far as I'm concerned. And Patty frickin' Jenkins is directed. Nuff said.
Red boys, time for battle. Let's see which side's gonna wipe the other one out first. Let's fight.
Jacob, I think your opening statement pretty much said everything. It took you so long to explain the premise of this thing. This is not entry-level Star Wars whatsoever. I'm sure it's going to be great for Clone Wars fans. I'm sure Filoni's going to do a great job at it. But if you talk about excitement across the board, I feel like Rogue Squadron, just the name Rogue Squadron in itself, has its hands in so many different pockets that it's just impossible to not get excited about it, whether you played the GameCube game or read the books or just like X-Wings in general or are a fan of Patty Jenkins. There's just so many elements of this that just line up. I'll admit, I don't know much about the books. I don't know much about the lore of the game besides just the fact that it was fun and I remember it being hard on the GameCube. I don't remember much about the story, but just the fact that it's got that market cornered, it's got that quarter of like the Star Wars fandom that really, really just gets into the dogfights of it all. And Patty Jenkins, are you kidding me? I'm not even that big of a fan of Wonder Woman, but I just think her style honestly fits more for Star Wars than it does for a comic book movie, just because she's got the war part of it down pat. I just think that it's all just going to come together. And like I said, the Bad Batch is going to be a very niche but very well done show. I just think in terms of excitement level, this is much higher on my radar.
Well, the niche really hasn't ever been a problem, and if people have been following Star Wars, the Clone Wars is anything but niche. If you see anything, I've seen a lot more people excited for this overall than Rogue Squadron. I mean, not much is known for Rogue Squadron than being written and directed by Patty Jenkins and being a movie about dogfights in space.
But I feel like that's the exciting part of Rogue Squadron for me, because Bad Batch, we already got a taste of what it's like in the Clone Wars. And it's just kind of like continuing on with that Filoni saga. That's great.
But
we've already got so much flavor of what that's already like. A whole movie about Star Wars dogfights, when Star Wars dogfights are usually the most exciting part of the movie. Hello, Rogue One. I just think that has all the potential in the world, especially directed by someone who knows how to do war movies.
And I think the taste of what Bad Batch is actually what leads to the excitement. I mean, like, we saw what these characters were capable of, like, under Luke Skywalker. And basically, if we're going to draw from video games, this is heavily reminiscent of the storyline from the original Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Okay, so you're admitting that the tease that we got of the Bad Batch wasn't the most exciting thing about it, so that
No,
like
I didn't.
that
That is literally not what I said at all.
fine. I'm trying to trap you. I'm trying to bait you.
I've learned your
Look at
trick.
the
Trying to
logos. Look at the logos. I just think that X-wing, man, like we all loved.
Do you know what this is? Do you know what my logo is? It's a decayed and more sinister version of the Clone Wars logo. That's shown like this is not going to be your average Star Wars show. It's going to be different. It's probably going to be darker, but it's still going to have Filoni at the helm. And Filoni's proven himself with more recent episodes of Mando. He's shown that he knows Star Wars and can do
Odin
Star Wars.
doesn't have to godfather the entire Star Wars universe, though, and Patty Jenkins is a director with a vision. And we've seen plenty of Filoni's vision. Let's give the keys to someone new, and let's explore an element of the Star Wars mythology.
And if it's going to be anything like Clone Wars, we know that there's going to be other writers and directors on there, so it's not just going to be exclusively what Filoni does.
But it's going to be his style. It's going to be his fingerprints all over it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I'm more excited about Patty Jenkins. I'm more excited about the idea of a movie that's practically all dogfights. That's new. That's stuff that I haven't seen in Star Wars before. I've got 7 seasons of Clone Wars to catch up on before I can even touch Bad Batch.
And that's not necessarily a detriment. I mean, we've seen dogfights before.
But not a whole movie based around them.
We've seen plenty of it before. What we haven't seen is the inner workings of this unique band of characters with unique specialities, like it said during the Fall of the Republic. Pretty much the only time we've ever seen that is during Rebels, and this seems to be a deeper look into that. Like I said, we don't know much about Rogue Squadron. It's not an adaptation of the video game or any of the books. We don't know exactly what it's going to be like. That kind of hampers my excitement, if you ask me.
Jacob, I guess you just don't like to speculate, because as a Star Wars fan, one of the funnest things about the Star Wars fandom is the speculation. Frankly, I'd rather speculate, and I'd rather be like, what could it be, than like being like, okay, this is what it is, and I know what it's going to be, and I'm looking forward to it.
There's plenty of speculation to be had with Bad Batch. Like what we got with the scissor reel, that's just like basic showcase. The possibilities are wide open with what we could do.
Fair enough.
Rogue Squadron is just pew 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 dogfight.
But like I said, just stylistically, that's so different, and I feel like
Lucasfilm's already had several dogfight movies. I mean, like they've done obviously they've done the Star Wars, but
classic Red Tails.
Red Tails. I mean, it's guaranteed to be better than Red Tails.
Let's hope so.
But we've seen those kinds of movies before. We've seen within Star Wars itself. And if we wanted more underground stuff, we would I'd be interested in Andor rather than Rogue Squadron.
I'm glad you brought up Andor, because I honestly think that Rogue Squadron has more potential than Andor does. And I think Andor is a series where I'm kind of like, wait, why are we doing this? Because to me, Cassian Andor, beyond the one line that he got, that's like, ooh, that's kind of intriguing. I don't know why we're devoting a whole series to a character from a movie that's known for its bland character writing. Whereas Rogue Squadron, like I said, it could be anything. It could be anything. We could have a dark Wookiee. Much like Mando, it could fill a lot of kind of just Star Wars fan boxes. It could do things that we never thought we would see in Star Wars.
And as far as movies go, I'm more interested in Taika Waititi's version rather than Patty Jenkins.
Did Taika Waititi's version even get announced during the Star Wars media day though?
I mean, not the name or anything, but it was more gave more highlights to it.
All right. So I don't know. I certainly think that I am appealing to the casual Star Wars fan who knows the name Rogue Squadron, but doesn't exactly know all the lore that it entails. Just like me as a casual Marvel fan, knew the name Civil War, knew the basics of Civil War, didn't know exactly how it would play out. And I'm thinking Rogue Squadron will be a similar thing, where they'll take kind of the best bits and pieces of that era and kind of make it a very palatable project in its own right.
The thing is, the Bad Batch is an entire entirely new team that was created specifically for Clone Wars, and now it has a new series, so it can appeal to both the casual fans and the ones who are dedicated to enough to go through the original Clone Wars. It's the best of both worlds as well.
I don't see how a casual fan who's never watched Clone Wars could get into Bad Batch. I really don't.
Well,
Okay. All right, I'm going to cast the first vote here. I'm feeling he had a really rocky start, but I think he kind of bought it back. I'm going to give my vote to Jacob.
all right.
It's first vote to Jacob. Claudie, who you liking?
Yeah, Jacob.
Okay, it's 2 for Jacob. Monkey.
Thank you for not making me a tiebreaker or giving me third because I'm not entirely sure. I'm feeling the divide of leaning towards Jacob's choice, but Tiki's arguments, dichotomies.
There's literally no pressure on this, Monkey. So just who are you feeling?
Well, my hand's on my leg, so I'm feeling myself. That sounded wrong.
Oh,
Why do you just who would you vote for?
Enough with the accidental double entendres, Monkey.
Okay, spur of the moment vote. Let's say Jacob.
All right, fair enough.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
All right, clean sweep for Jacob. Boys on the board, 2-1. All right.
Okay.
Ooh, that was a tough one.
Okay. So, guys, we are at the end of 3 rounds. So that means we're going to break out the best scar, as in
Well,
the
what
best
about
scar.
what about the other coin?
Well, let's find out after we do. This one.
Oh God. Okay.
All right, so because I want the tension to see how you guys do on this coin before we find out if maybe there's a coin or not in this round. Okay, so Beskar coin. Who's feeling lucky? Jacob, you feeling lucky?
Punk I am.
Okay, he's gonna flip. The boy's gonna flip out. Okay.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
Oh, well, tell it to this guy because he just got a lucky break. It's 2-2. It's all tied up. Tiki, do you want?
Let's leave it tied up.
Okay. All right. So before we move on, let me just do the old fool search here. And you know what? I'm gonna ask old. You know what? Who am I kidding? I'm not gonna find it this round. Wait. What is that?
Go
Oh, thanks, buddy. R2 just gave me the coin. Thanks.
on.
All right. So yeah, we found the coin of the Fett guys. Now for this one, I'm going to remind you guys. So the winner of the round, who was Jacob. Jacob, this is all you, buddy. Feel free to flip it. Something's going to happen if you get tails, though. So do you want to flip the coin?
Am I going to lose all my points?
Look, I'm gonna no
Yeah,
country
fine,
for old men
Starlight.
here right now. This is the flip that matters.
I'm not
Okay.
going to flip.
Okay, let me put it through this way. Look, I'm just because you talked to. I'm going to tell you what happens if it lands tails. You ready?
Sure.
If it lands tails in the spirit of the holiday in the giving season, point goes to Tiki.
Yeah, I'm not going to flip.
Okay, you're tied up and you can get a lead. Okay, it's fine.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I wasn't going to flip regardless.
Okay. All right. We'll see if that coin comes back later, but okay.
Oh God.
All right. All right, that brings us to the speed round, guys. Speed round, of course, the way this works, it's 30 seconds followed by a 15-second rebuttal. We will take, assuming we get any, we'll open the audience questions. Should they arise, the audience member will call the rounds. If that happens.
Hey, our usual question provider is one of our judges today.
That's what I'm saying. So I guess
Exactly.
we can't quite do that then. But well, again, if we have any other newcomers that show up, by all means, you throw a question out, we'll use it.
Mhm.
All right. So first, the 5 points wins the game. Right now, it's tied up 2-2. Jacob's got 2. Tiki's got 2. You guys ready
Yeah.
for the light speed round?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
All right. So first off, we're going to go to the wheel
Oh,
of
God.
guest stars.
Oh God. Oh, we have a comment.
All right, so folks,
We have a comment from someone named Nate.
hey, okay, Nate. Listen, just because you just joined us, I'm going to remind you we're now in the speed round for for our debates here, Star Wars debates, and basically, if you we're taking questions. So if you want us, if you have any ideas for Star Wars related questions, we will we'll use them. You get to call the round. You get to call who wins, who sways you more on the argument for whatever question you like to pose to us. We are taking audience questions, so just let it ruminate. Otherwise, just enjoy the show. Okay. In regards, tell us who you're feeling for, because you also might be able to call some rounds even if you didn't do a round. We'll see. We'll see. It's a crazy round. Anything could happen. All right.
Oh God.
Okay. Again, a few surprises, but potentially. So,
I'm worried. I'm worried now.
all right. So the standout of a holiday special, of the original Star Wars holiday special, and of course Mando season 2 would be the guest stars. This was a very guest star heavy season, and it's not the holiday special without some notable guest stars. Hence the wheel of guest stars, which basically we have our recurring no recurring characters like Boba Fett, Finn Shannick, or Grief Karga on this list. Just so you know, it's like those guys become characters before they're like guest stars, because they're probably going to come back. They're kind of big players. They're appear usually more than 2 episodes, so they're kind of sticking around for keepsies, so they don't count within kind of our guest players who kind of showed up in season 2. Some of them have showed up in season 1. Some of them are just kind of brand new on the spot. So the question is, once we spin and decide who gets what, the question is best guest star from Mando season 2. Okay, so we're gonna spin it and assign who gets what on the wheel. And considering Jacob won the last round, Jacob will get first. We'll get first pick. Jacob, do you want to spin for yours first? Or you want Tiki to spin first?
I'll spin first.
Okay. So Jacob's gonna go first, and he's gonna get
Oh, that's a big one.
Ahsoka Tano.
Damn.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Brings us to Tiki, and he is gonna get. You got a wide assortment, folks. There are a few kind of whammies on here. Nothing really bad, but some whammies.
Oh, fuck yes. Oh, I can totally work
All
with
right.
that.
This is an interesting one. We got
The credits gave it away.
Weasel his way on the list, by the way. But how could we not put Bib Fortuna after this season?
Is it a good thing I didn't use the end credits thing for my episode, because that probably was that was more like a teaser for the show rather than like an actual part of the episode.
True.
I mean, should I have used that in my argument?
I don't think it. You could have. I don't think it hurt you that you didn't have it in there. But I don't know. You might have been able to spin it to gold. I don't know. Maybe.
All right, that's the last time we're gonna need the wheel, right?
Yes, the last time we're going to need the wheel.
For a moment, I was expecting it to be like, who would be like a Mandalorian holiday special.
That's kind of what I was expecting too.
Oh, no, we already did our little talk on the Mandalorian holiday special. We don't need to do it again. All right, so again, best guest star from Mando Season 2. Jacob, again, 30 seconds, followed by 15-second rebuttal. You're going to tell us why Ahsoka's the best.
Ahsoka's the best guest star.
Hold on. Sorry. Go ahead.
Ahsoka works as the best guest star so far in season 2, basically because like it shows basically, even if you weren't familiar with her from Clone Wars, and even if you are, it highlights her character in a unique and interesting way. Basically, kind of understand who she is, what she does, without even needing to understand her backstory. If you do, that even deepens the character, and her interactions with Mando and Grogu are second to none, like developing pretty much all 3 of them at the exact same time.
Everyone knew we were going to get Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. That was cast like long out. It was just a matter of when, not if. Nobody could have seen Bib Fortuna coming. Nobody could have seen the fact that he became a fat fuck on that throne, just like Jabba before him. Nobody could have seen him using the word McClunky. My case, it was the most, like, it was the most unpredictable guest star moment the entire season.
Ahsoka actually served a purpose within its own show, and also sets off her own future show. All Bib Fortuna does is basically set up Boba Fett, and then he dies. That's it. Basically, that's all we see.
Okay. That's all we need to see with Bib Fortuna because he's such a memorable but like non-existent. Like he doesn't have that big of a role. So just to see him visually is great. It's a backdoor pilot, but it's a moment. Yours is a backdoor pilot. That's an entire episode.
All right. Okay, got a solid round there. All right, you know what, Claudie, I'll let you call this one, buddy. What do
Okay.
you think won?
Tiki, since he mentions of how surprised it was of the character's appearance, like how nobody saw it coming,
You know, the
And
surprise.
how- and how the moment that he had is all what we needed to see.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so right now on the board, Tiki's got 3 points, Jacob's got 2, and again, just for Nate joining us, again, it's first to 5 wins, and again, by all means, either vote on who you think's sold you more. Maybe it'll influence our deliberation process. And again, if you have any questions, by all means, they'll make it into the show. At least one.
Just saying, for what it's worth, I'm guessing the actor who played Bib Fortuna would have seen it coming.
By the way, fun fact: the actor who played Bib Fortuna was Matthew Wood, who played General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith.
It's funny.
Well, actually, all I know,
And
I believe it's that and in Clone Wars, right?
in Clone Wars, Matthew Wood did that. Yeah. He's also a Lucasfilm sound designer.
Which is awesome, by the way. All right, and again, Nate concurs. I think he won that round.
He basically works on a lot of their basically Star Wars projects. I think he even does some stuff for Mando.
He does.
No joke. I'm checking my phone to make sure that the guy I saw playing Augustus Gloop wasn't named Matthew Wood. Okay, Matt Wood.
Close but
Very
no
close.
cigar. All right.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see.
was great.
All right.
Your mother
I like
motherfucker.
We got a lot of good questions here. Let's get a pick between. Okay, I tell you what. All right, it's time. Okay, you guys ready for a fun one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is what you call a quick draw questions. I'm going to give you 2 names, and after you hear the second name, whoever speaks first gets their pick, but they also have to go first.
Okay.
All right, so time for Battle of the Cute. So in light of Mando and the Investors Day announcements of certain shows and certain other holiday specials in the works, who is the cutest character, Baby Yoda or Baby Groot?
Yoda.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be the question once I heard that.
I think it's Baby Yoda, and then Jacob will follow with Baby Groot.
Okay. Baby Groot was the prototype. Baby Yoda was the perfected formula. Don't get me wrong. I was a fan of Baby Groot. I think Baby Groot was great. But first of all, I feel like they got rid of Baby Groot way too soon. Like by the end of his movie, he's already a teenager. I honestly think that was a mistake. If they really wanted to milk the cuteness, they would have had him be Baby Groot through the Infinity Saga. And Baby Yoda is just classic. Baby Yoda literally brought the Star Wars fandom together.
Okay. Sorry. What makes Baby Groot work is that he highlights the themes prevalent in like several of the Guardians. Like he highlights like the themes of fatherhood prevalent in Guardians 2, which is kind of similar to what Baby Yoda does, but I think it does it in a more nuanced and subtle way, like by highlighting it throughout each and every one of the characters, like Rocket's basically the overall team's protection of him. Basically, Baby Yoda is just Lone Wolf and Cub, but done in space, and Basically.
I just think in terms of the cuteness factor, you also can't say no to Grogu and his design with the teeth and the big eyes and everything. With Baby Groot, he's cute, but you got kind of like the wrinkly face. You got like that bark. You got the red jacket. I just don't think it's as aesthetically pleasing.
Baby Yoda is basically just older Yoda, but small, wrinkly, white hair, and he looks like basically an old short midget. At least Baby Groot looks like a baby, and the little clothes are just so cute and adorable on him.
All right, Monkey.
I think I'm gonna go with Jacob because of that point about nuance.
Fair.
All right, Monkey's giving the point to Jacob. It's tied up.
I kind of pulled that one out of nowhere, but I did kind of mean it in a way. But like I kind of meant to like also throw that Baby Yoda is just kind of like an ugly midget in a sack.
Okay, can we stop using that word?
The M word.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're gonna take that to people.
Sorry,
All right.
We're talking
everybody.
about Tootsie Rolls. We can't use that rule. We can't use that word.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know. Sorry.
All right. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, I'm looking.
Are we
All right.
tied again?
Yes.
Yeah, they're tight again.
So, yeah.
You're gonna race to 5, getting awfully tight again. Getting the old red 5 toward the blow up the Death Star. There, it's getting tight.
It's a duel of the fates and battle of the heroes.
It is. Okay, so guys, we lost two greats two great Star Wars actors in the last 2 months. Sad to say. And these were guys that the fans knew, the fans appreciated. And unfortunately, these guys never quite got their day in the sun. Of course, David Prowse and Jeremy Bulloch, if I'm saying that right. 'Cause I always want to say Bullock, but I know it's not right. Bulloch. So basically, just to focus on David Prowse for a moment, which kind of took us all by storm. Of course, we kind of learned a lot about David Prowse through certain documentaries. He's always been around. The guy's been around, but the whole Darth Farmer of it all, or if you really got to know the whole infamy of what happened and everything, and the poor guy's kind of being shut out of Star Wars. Point being, Dave Prowse, one of the all-time greats. So, to give him like kind of highlight all the stuff he's done. Now, here's the question: guys. What is the best Darth Vader moment in all of Star Wars in the suit? So it's got to be in the suit. This also in light of the whole, Hayden Christensen thing that he's going to be back in the suit. So that, and along with Dave Prowse, that's the question. Best Darth Vader moment in all of Star Wars, only in the suit, though.
But the sand.
Nope.
So is it only for David Prowse in this suit, or is it for anyone?
I'm just saying he doesn't necessarily have to be David Prowse in the suit, but just to celebrate the suit performances. So just it's
Okay, I'm gonna go with the non-special edition, the pre no throwing pelt, like the moral dilemma.
right. So basically, it's classic, kind of the air shaft, or like the Death Star shaft.
Yes, but importantly, before the no.
So, yeah.
So yours is just Luke. So just him throwing down them Palpatine down the shaft.
Well, it's basically like him, like looking, like seeing Luke get tortured and then throwing him. Yes.
Right, Jacob.
There's a lot of good ones in there.
There is.
Sorry.
There's one really obvious one. I'm surprised isn't jumping out.
I know there's an obvious one, but I'm trying to think of.
I feel like 5 good ones right now, but just take your time.
Yeah, it's just trying to think of one that I can argue with.
When he asked Padme if she was an angel.
Wrong Vader.
Moment, monkey.
Yeah.
Are you an angel, Padme?
I hate sand.
Okay. All right, Jacob. There's plenty of choices.
I know. I'll go with the birth of Vader from Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay.
Yes, and I know the obvious one was Rogue One.
Yeah, I'm surprised neither of us picked that one.
Yeah, there's also I am your father, but just throwing that out there.
Wow,
yeah.
I completely
I am your
forgot I
father
am your
with all
father.
Earl Jones.
Yeah. I mean, I am your father, but that's just that.
Fair enough. Okay, Tiki.
Yeah, it's not even what David Prowse said on set.
I know.
I think my moment is the best David Prowse in suit performance, absolutely bar none, because you feel all the emotion, you feel all the pathos of Vader and his moral dilemma. Like, you see his son getting tortured within an inch of his life. You see his mentor just doing it. You see, like, the moral quandary and the triumphant rescue at the end, fulfilling his destiny as the chosen one. Jacob, I'm sorry, but my moment doesn't need a no.
Just because my scene has a no, I mean, and a no, and if you basically understand what exactly is all that about, the no is actually extremely warranted. Extremely warranted. It's basically this scene highlights basically the entire 6 movies are the tragedy of Darth Vader, and that scene basically encompasses that. Like, he's now a shell of his former self. He's just lost everything. And basically Anakin Skywalker is dead, but Darth Vader is born.
One directing choice would have made that scene so much better. And it's the same directing choice that saved my moment and killed my moment in the special editions. If he says no, fine, but he doesn't need to scream it to the heavens. It's way too melodramatic.
Melodrama does have its place in Star Wars, and obviously mine is a bit melodramatic, but so is like carrying somebody over to a shaft being tackled by lightning. I think that's a bit melodramatic in of itself. Basically, as I said, mine encompasses the entire themes of the character and entire themes of the character itself.
All right, okay, I'm looking at this, and guys, it's real tight. But you know what? I got to give the point to Tiki.
Mm-hmm.
That's the power of please, kids.
I did like Jacob's melodrama defense. There's to give points for points you do there.
I said I was gonna go with the scene from Rogue One, but then I said, that scene's just him just chopping down a bunch of people.
All right, you guys up for a Muppet question, or should I?
Oh, hell yeah, we're always up for a Muppet question.
It's pretty much standard to have a Muppet question in these debates.
What do you think,
Okay.
Darth Vader? No!
Okay, so considering the end of episode 6 from Mando season 2, the tragedy, which was amazing, you had an excellent.
Of which the real tragedy was the Razor Crest's death.
Yes, this is fact, because we know the baby's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. We're not gonna kill Baby Yoda. But anyway, the Razor Crest, though, unfortunately, not so lucky. All right. Seriously, hashtag remember the crest, man.
Revenge of the Crest.
Yes. All right. So, anyway, considering the end of the tragedy, Giancarlo Esposito has a wonderful scene acting against Baby Yoda. Mm-hmm. So the question is, which Muppet should act opposite Giancarlo Esposito?
In that scene specifically,
just acting in general, work-wise. Let's just give him a project. Could be a show, could be a movie. Let's just have Giancarlo Esposito have a scene against a Muppet.
I'm gonna go with the Swedish Chef.
All right, take a shot, Swedish Chef.
Is there music in the background?
Yes, there is.
There's a couple ones I'd like to see. Gonzo.
All right. Jacob's got Gonzo.
My other pick was Uncle Deadly.
Ooh.
I think
that's a good one.
Would have been the
Well,
obvious.
too late for it now. Okay.
I know that I didn't go because it was obvious, and it'd just be these two people with the same kind of acting
Yeah,
going against each
exactly.
I gotta tell you, just for the heck of it, just for the Doc Hopper of it all, I would have loved to see Kermit the Frog have a scene against Giancarlo Esposito.
It was
You
like
ever seen this?
You gotta be
powerful-
crazy chasing this baby halfway across the galaxy.
No, because seriously, Kermit the Frog acting against Charles During was really stellar acting, and having that against Giancarlo Esposito could be really good. But I think anyway, we can't use that argument, so it's fine. So we're gonna move on to Tiki's when he's ready.
All right. So we all saw how fucking intimidating Giancarlo Esposito could be, literally just cooking a meal on Breaking Bad. Let's add that same sort of tension to a scene with the Swedish chef. And the thing I love about the Swedish chef is that, sure, on the outset, he's like this dumb comic relief character, but the dude's got an edge to him, man. The dude's got a malicious side. He literally shoots us with a cannon in Muppet Vision. He might be a serial killer for all we know. Let's have Giancarlo Esposito bring the dark side of Swedish chef out.
we all know Giancarlo Esposito. He can be played anywhere from like this somewhat heroic character to like a crazy villain, or even just like a more melodramatic, not melodramatic, but more like a mellow villain who like sees with intelligence. Pit that against but any of those against Gonzo, however, you have a recipe for pure comedic gold. I mean, basically playing a seriousness for comedy, which would be Giancarlo and Gonzo's potential for stunts would be a knockout.
You see, I think your basic argument could apply for pretty much any Muppet. It's like, oh, Giancarlo's the straight villain man, and then the Muppet is the wacky character. I feel like my argument lays way more into like the fact that these two could pair on a really fundamental acting level.
Yours is still yours overall is still the villain and crazy Muppet character, and yours is basically a glorified Muppets Now segment from what you've described. Basically, think of it with Gonzo, the literal sky's the limit.
I gotta tell you, I was not gonna hold it against you, Jacob. I was hoping for like a Muppets from Space reference, but but you know what? I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind here. I'm gonna let Monkey decide this round.
Okay, caution is just past me. Check. Tiki.
Tiki?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh well, that means
Yes,
Tiki
I am
wins.
flashing back to the walking bread from the Swedish chef.
I do have to ask this though. What about the dancing cheese?
Oh, God.
Okay, but Tiki wins.
All right. So, yeah, thanks, everyone. It was great. Jacob, you put up a good fight.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks to our judges. Thanks to Nate for joining us in the comments.
You need.
All right, guys. Dragon, any final words to go out on?
Just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Hope you liked it. Again, hope you heeded that spoiler warning because we kind of threw a few things out there.
Yeah,
And
regarding the holiday special.
yes, speaking of which, hope everyone has a happy Life Day and or whatever they celebrate, and also happy holidays from us and everyone here at So You Want to Be an Imagineer.
I've won this debate before.
May the force be with you.